Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. Team Victory has a special guest speaker today, so we're just going to jump right in. I'm going to read her bio so we can get started, have enough time to have a few questions that she might be able to answer for us. So the bio is this. Stacey started Juice Plus as a 24-year-old mom of 1-year-old. She got the sales coordinator in 6 months and moved across the country a week later. They had 2 more babies in 19 months, so that's 3 under 3. Another move across the country 3 years later, and the crash of her husband's business woke her up to the stability this business could offer. Working with 3 young kids at home, she moved to SC and then to QNMD in less than 3 years. And you guessed it, moved across the country again. Mm-hmm. With NMD goals, she continued forward, rebuilding with each move and made NMD in one of the hardest years of her life. And one more move across the country and IMD to the list. And you will find Stacey in the southwest desert of NM in the small town of about 13,000 people. Stacey has been with Juice Plus, lost it there, for almost 20 years now and has had the joy of raising her family in this community. Her kids are now 20, 18, and 17, and she's been married for 24 years to her husband, Jared. She has a heart for helping families simplify their nutrition and network marketers build stable income for their families. She is a creator of the DMO Planner, as I showed a little earlier, and she is here to share 3 things she feels is really important to help team move forward and reach their goals. All right. Thank you for that bio, Stacey. I appreciate it. And we welcome you to Team Victory.
Oh, thank you guys. Denise and I have been working to get me onto this call with you for a while now. And I always count it as an honor when a leader asks me to come and speak for their team. It's like that you would trust me with your people. Please know that I don't take that lightly, even though I'm still talking to you in the car, but we're like, I can see the house. We are right here. But, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about, what DMO is, what that looks like, and what holds us back from being effective at doing business every day on a consistent enough basis to be able to get the results that we want. So there's 3 things that I do feel that make a big difference with that: mindset, skill set, and activity. So where's our mind? What are we thinking? What do we say to ourselves? What do we think about this business? What do we think about being business owners? What are we thinking and making up in our head stories about other people and what they might be thinking, right? A lot of times that's what it is, run inside as we're talking. But really, mindset is huge. I would say that's probably the biggest one, and where we have to continually work over and over and over again to make sure that we're on track with that, because it can be what distracts us, but it can also be what fuels us to go the right direction as well. So be thinking about mindset. Where's your mindset at? What are your thoughts? Where's your focus? What stories do you say or possibly make up in your mind? The second is skill set. What skill set are you lacking that you might need to be able to work more effectively at the activity that you do? So effective skill set would be being able to do a presentation from the very beginning, of setting the date of it, of choosing the slides, being able to use PowerPoint well enough that you feel confident with that, being able to present in public. And of course that gets better as time goes on. The more you do it, then the more confident you're going to get with that skill set. But that is a skill. It's not something that I was super comfortable with or really good at. and I wanted to kind of do it my own way at first. And so I had to learn, what does it look like to lead an event here in this type of business versus maybe other areas that I had led something similar. So then the third thing is activity. Okay, so what activity do we do on a daily basis that runs our business? So I want to involve you guys here with me, and I'm going to switch to my computer because I want to be able to share my screen with you guys. But I would love to know, just thinking about maybe life outside of Juice Plus, what is a DMO that had to do with the business or the company that you worked for or the job that you had? So let me give you an example for myself, and then I want to see what you guys come up with. What are some of the things that you can think of that had a DMO? So for me, I was a dental assistant before we had kids. And so we had a specific system that day of how the rhythm of our day was going to look, right? We had a schedule. At that point, it was a piece of paper that we printed off the computer, taped on the wall, but it told us, your first patient is coming in at 8 o'clock, and this is the procedure we're doing. And then at 9 o'clock, this is the patient that's coming in, and this is the procedure, on down the list throughout that day. And so we knew what we were going to be talking or, working with, who we were going to be working with, what we were going to be doing, how we would set up the room, how long the procedure would take, what did we need to do between each patient. And if we had no patient, what did we do during that time? What were we going to be working on? Maybe things back in the lab. There was a method of operation that we had within that. That looked different for me as the assistant as it did the front office lady, right? Like, we were both at the dental office, but there was a different method of operation, but it was something that happened daily. And it really helped the flow of the day to go well. We weren't just taking walk-ins all day to where we had no idea how long the procedure would be. There were days where we did specific procedures because we knew to block off a certain amount of time. Like, there was a method to that. So I want you to think back to maybe a job, or maybe it's even like somewhere you volunteered or you've been involved with that had a method of operation that you guys followed during the day. So think, like, just someone jump on, talk to us about that. What did that look like? What was that job?
Well, as a teacher, we had a schedule, every single day. And at this time, this happened, at this time, that happened. You were expected to follow the schedule every single day based on what was going on for that day. Now, the thing that sometimes happened was the schedule might have been interrupted, because of one thing or another. And in all honesty, when it became interrupted, it was difficult. The interruption was difficult, but at the same time, the schedule helped us to get back on track. Yeah.
So getting back on track, that schedule helping you with that made the day more effective. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It would have been pretty chaotic to not have lesson plans. Would you have been productive without them?
No. It would have been kind of, a toss at the hat and all that kind of stuff. And whatever might have happened. But but the lesson plans did give us a guide. Mm-hmm.
Without those lesson plans, does it leave an open space for a lot of distraction?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Squirrel, look, and the kids going off and having a hard time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yep. Okay. So that's a perfect example. Thank you so much. Is it Clarice?
Corliss.
Sorry. Mm-hmm. So yes, I think teachers are an excellent example of that. Tell me somebody else. Anyone else have a business or a job or something you volunteered that there was some sort of method?
I'll jump in here real quick. I worked with Delta Airlines, and in the morning, I did the morning shift. So at 3:30 in the morning, we had a list of things that we need to do to make sure that the plane is ready, make sure the flight attendants and the jet bridge is pulled up and all that kind of stuff. And if we miss something on that list, that's major for that plane and everybody involved. So we had to have a list. There's just no doubt about it. If something was missed, of course, we could go back to that list and see who was responsible for it. And you just don't miss that list. So yeah, it was required.
So in that situation, there's a safety aspect to it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like there's people's lives in danger or on the line, not just your job, so that's an excellent example as well. And a lot of people having to do their job in an order and with rhythm. And I love that word. I think you used checklist, having a checklist of things to do that kept things in order, and it gave you guys some direction. So Denise, that's an excellent example. Anyone else?
Marjorie put in the chat, opening and closing duties in opening hotels and restaurants and cafes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it just makes the day more effective, that job more effective, whatever it is. So as a busy mom of little ones, I felt like, like my time was so limited. It really just was. So if you have little ones, or maybe you work outside of Juice Plus, you have an outside job, maybe you have a lot of, responsibilities within your own home, or volunteer a lot and are really involved in the community. We all have lives and we have different aspects. Very few of us, like Juice Plus is the only thing. Like I do Juice Plus full time, but I'm very involved in our community. And so, there, just a lot of different areas that I'm involved in, and I like being a part of what's happening in the community. I'm not just sitting at home just doing Juice Plus business, right? And so I need some structure to know what is my daily method of operation. Like, what is the activity that's, if I put time into this activity, then I'm going to see results in my business. Because there are things that you can do that are going to share, or that you can put time into, but is that really going to move our business forward? And so I'm going to share my screen with you guys now, and I'm a visual person, so I like to have some images to go along with this. But we're going to talk about using the DMO planner really in a way that brings clarity to your business, and it just really maximizes your time. And not all of us have a whole lot of time. And I'll say, now that I do have more time to do this business, I waste a lot of time. Like when I had less time, I got more things done in less time because I knew I had limited and I was going to do it quick. So I can easily waste a lot of time just doing things that don't really matter, or that aren't high priority business activity, but you still feel like, oh yeah, I'm doing business. Right? But is it really business that's going to move us forward? So one of those things would be cleaning our desk. We all love the idea of our desk on the left, right? Like if somebody's really organized, and had somebody the other day say, Stacey, you do so much, like you're involved in so many things. Like, I don't know how you do it. And I said, it's all about systems. You have to have systems. And really that's what this DMO planner is. The idea is how much more productive are you at one of these desks? On one side, I would say, oh, the organized desk, look, it's so organized, it's so perfect, it's pretty. But then on the other hand, I would say, yeah, but it's too organized, it's too pretty. Is anything happening there? Because it looks like a lot of work is going on the right side, right? There's sticky notes, and there's names, there's phone numbers, there's notes being taken, there's things printed off, there's books, like there's a lot of activity happening there. So we kind of want to find a place in in the middle of that. And for me, it was having a place to write everything down, that it was out of my head and it was on paper, so that I didn't have so many sticky notes all over the desk. I didn't have so many notebooks. I didn't have this calendar and that calendar, and that I really had some direction of what to do. So I think a desk in between these is fine. Not everything is going to always look perfect. To work looks like working. Activity is going to create sort of a mess with that. And that's okay too. So life was full when my kids were little, for sure. And then Juice Fuss became our plan B overnight. My husband's internet business crashed with one email, from thousands a month to nothing, to zero with one email. The company he was working with online changed their payout structure and he was taken out. We had just bought this beautiful house back where we grew up around my family. I thought this was where we would, grow old together. We would raise our kids there. We loved this house. And I wanted to stay home with my babies. I did not want my mom to be raising them, and she did not want to raise them. I didn't want to have to be swapping out with my sister. I wanted to be home with them. That was super important to me. I didn't want to have to go back to work as a dental assistant, but I needed income. We had this $2,000 a month mortgage payment, and he had no income coming in. I needed this business to work. And I remember thinking, you know what? The kids are older now, which is that picture, probably even younger than that picture, which makes me laugh because our youngest one was like 15 months old. And I was like, now that the kids are older, I can do this. But it was really because I had a strong desire to make this happen. And I thought, if people above me can make this work, if they can get different promotions, then so can I. And Denise said, I was a sales coordinator at that time. And over the next 2.5 years, I got to QNMD. And I really came about with this system from in the trenches with little ones, limited time, really working hard to grow this business and get us the income that we needed to save that house. I did not want to foreclose on that home. And and this was at a time where a lot of people they were foreclosing and walking away from a house. I just didn't want to do that. And so I needed this to work. And so I got to work. My brain, I felt like, had all of these tabs open, too many sticky notes, too many places where information was. And so I am a systems person. I like that. I like simplifying things that way. And so I was just determined, I've got to find a system for this. I've got to find a way to really organize what's important for us, what activity is needed. And there was a sheet out there, and there still is within the company, and it was a DMO sheet. And so I would print those out, and what I ended up with was a whole bunch of those DMO sheets. And then I still had other calendars. And after working for, a good 2 years, really perfecting, and I felt like my activity that was getting the results I wanted, I decided, I'm going to design a book and I'm going to put it all together in one place. And so that's what I did. And I designed this. This was the page of DMO, what it looked like. That was me all those years ago, blonde and quite a bit younger. This was about 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. And I sold these planners, and everyone loved them. Like, I would take them to conference and people would say, oh my gosh, a DMO planner, let me see that. I would explain it. They were like, okay, I want to buy one. And I loved it. We had moved back to Alabama. My husband got his old job back. We needed serious income from him as well. So we did move back, and I sold out all of these planners. And we did not foreclose on that home. We were able to keep that house, and we had renters in there for about 10 years. Then we turned it into an Airbnb, and then we sold it about a year ago. So this was the original DMO planner. And, I sold out. It kind of was just put in the back of my mind, like, I knew I wanted to bring it back because I missed having it in a book form and not just printing out the sheets and hole punching them and putting them into a notebook. Like, I missed having a book all in one place. And so 2020 rolls around. We all have extra time on our hands, right? And so I decided, okay, I'm going to redesign this. And I learned a new design program. And then I redesigned, and this is the DMO planner that we have now. And it was a lot of months of printing it out myself, changing things up. I didn't like the way that flowed or whatever. And it really has just become something that a lot of people are using within our business and other businesses that are like ours, that are a client-based business. It's not just directed towards Juice Plus. So I want to show you guys, how do we be really effective by this or with this planner? One of the things that you had asked, Denise, is, how do we keep up with the people that we're talking to and our new customers, right? The new customer, the good follow-up with them, because we know good customers become team members, or they will become referrals, giving us referrals. And so we want to make sure that we're following up well with the people that we talk to, that people don't fall through the cracks. And that's where I find this to be very helpful, because you can end up with a bunch of sticky notes or a napkin or a paper that has somebody's name in it, or just in your phone, and you forget who was that person, or it goes into your contacts and it's not something you see on ever again unless you're searching for them, right? And so I have one section in here called People I Want to Help. And so this, you would just write down their name, their date that you met them, maybe something about them, where you guys met, any information that you want to remember. I say you don't have to have a lot of details in this. A lot of those details, guys, if you go back to your text messages with that person, a lot of those details are like saved within that text thread. So I personally don't write down a ton of information about them. Only the stuff that I really might need to know if it was disease specific or like a specific health concern. And then you'll see at the right, there's a little hashtag section there. And what this is for is to help us be intentional about following up enough times that we get the results that we want. We know it's 6 to 9 exposures between talking to somebody and them making a decision with Juice Plus. Either it's a no for them, or they still need more information, or they order. 6 to 9. That was definitely the case for me. I heard about Juice Plus at a booth. I didn't know the lady that shared with me. I had no idea that there was a connection between disease and nutrition. I wasn't interested in a business. Like, there was a paradigm shift that had to happen from vitamins to whole food. I just didn't know about the power of food. There was a lot of learning that had to take place before I was willing to invest my income in something. I didn't want to make a stupid decision and buy something and regret it later. And so I think that's where a lot of people are, and why we have to be really effective at how many times we follow up with them. Some people will say, you follow up until they tell you no, or take me off the list, I'm not interested, or they order, and you just keep them on that list. Well, I can agree to that, except for after 20 years, can you imagine how long that list could probably be? I really want to keep it in the people that I'm having the most connection with, great conversation that we had, my warmer market that I have to discuss with them because we just had a conversation, or people that had a high interest, or if you're brand new, it would be your warmest market. But the reason for those hashtags on the right there, every time you follow up with them, put a hashtag there, put a line, and then count and realize. And there's times where I can tell you specific team members that I said, I followed up with her 5 times. And my husband said, 5 isn't 9. And I was like, you're right. It's not 9. I'm going to reach out to her again. I want to reach out another time. And I would reach out that 6th time, or that 7th time, or the 5th time. And that's the time where I would get an answer. And just today, I had that happen this weekend. I had a great conversation with a lady at dinner, sent her videos that night, asked her what she thought of those videos, no response. Invited her to an event, no response. Asked her again, what did she think of the videos? No response. Invited her to another event, no response. And I was like, maybe this isn't even her number. Like, what if I'm texting somebody and it's not even them? So I called her. She didn't answer, but I left a message, and I texted again and said, hey, I just left you a message. Still nothing. I heard nothing. And then she texted me and said, ask for a price, or asked for something else, some other piece of information. I gave that to her. She wrote back, I want to order the fruit and vegetable chewables. So that's not typically what an adult orders, right? I could have said, okay, here's the link. So that we're talking at least 8 times now, a follow-up with her. There was no response for at least 5 of that. I could have said in my mind, she's not interested. She thinks I'm a crazy person. That's not even her phone number. That I don't want to be a pest. I don't want to bother her. But I remember that conversation, ladies. She needed this. She needs this nutrition. It made sense to her. Her interest was high, but so are the distractions in people's lives. We owe it to them to give them the attention until they're ready to order. Those messages didn't take me a long time, right? Like that wasn't hours of time it took me to message her. Add up all of that. Honestly, it was what, maybe 15 minutes total of all of those follow-ups, maybe. So that really isn't a huge investment of time to follow up with her. When I got her on the phone, because I said, yeah, I'll call you this afternoon. So I called her this afternoon. And so I just started asking her questions. Like, I'm thinking, why the chewables? If chewables only, either she can't swallow capsules, maybe she doesn't fully understand what this is. Why not the trio and the quad? That's what I had recommended. I just wanted to see, like, where is she at? What is her need? And how can I serve her best? By the end of the call, she ordered the trio capsules, has a grandchild on the study with her, and we talked about her partnering with us this month. None of that would have happened only through text. So I can't tell you enough how important it is to get on the phone. It was the phone call, even if I left her a message, that prompted her to finally answer me, right? And then when they start asking price, that's when we get on the phone with them. So much more can be explored in that conversation that just can't happen on text. If they won't answer me back, if she was like, no, just send me a link, I would have honored that and I would have sent her a link, right? But I knew that there was more to this and I wanted to explore that with her. I served her better on the phone call than I did through a text message. And that takes bravery on our part, stepping out. It's a skill set, but it's an A activity that really can pay you back. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow on our call that we do every Monday morning. And you guys are all welcome to be a part of that. But that's what that whole part is right there. Those hashtag marks, that's a way that you can track and it will encourage you. It's not 9. It's not 7 to 9 times. I've only mentioned or sent her a message 3 times. Sometimes you can just go back through the text thread and you can see that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to be brave and do this 5th one. Okay, so some sort of tracking system within that. That's why that's there. That's with your prospects. In the beginning, and at the back, there is contact sheets for customers and also for potential partners. I guess I didn't have a picture of that on there. On the customer sheets, there's a 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can do 4 contacts. You could do once a month. Each time you could send an event. You could, see them in person. You can do a follow-up call and ask them how they're doing, checking on, what they're doing. In boards, there's a beautiful section on customer care, but that's just a way for us to be touching base with them every month, at least for their first 4 months. That is the most critical time that we're getting them in the habit of taking it, that it's a part of their daily routine, that they're keeping up with that routine. Are they noticing any changes? Inviting them to another event. And then, of course, always making sure they're ready for their next box before that ships. If you let customers ship without their knowledge and without their okay, that's the fastest way to lose a customer. They might not say anything the first time, but they will the second time. And usually they call in and cancel. And you just see that it showed up as canceled. So people don't like to pay for something they weren't ready for. It's okay. If they need to delay, then we at least know, okay, they're not taking it regularly. Let's go back to routine. How did they get off of taking it every day? Or maybe they really never set it up. If they don't take it, they're not going to see a result. If they don't see a result, they're not going to continue to invest in it. They're not going to tell other people about it. They're definitely not going to partner with you, right? So that's really important, that first 4 months of customer care. So at the beginning of the book, There's a couple of sheets that are sort of what I call higher thinking pages, where you're writing down your goals in different areas of your life. You're writing down the important dates. You're writing down your why. Some people love journaling and they love writing things down, and this is like their favorite part of the book. For others, you may not like your handwriting. You may not like to write things down. It may seem like a distraction. Don't get hung up on these. If you love it, go with it. There's a lot to explore within that will help deepen your why for doing this business. And it's what you're going to lean back on the times that you get frustrated or you just need some encouragement. You can go back to those. But if that stresses you out, thinking you have to have those all filled out, my guess is you're on the perfectionist column. And I'm going to give you some, hopefully just a whole lot of, give yourself some grace, but you don't have to fill out those pages. If you don't want to do those, rip them out so you don't have to see them if having them empty bothers you. I do encourage you to take the time to write them down. Nobody expects perfection. Just write your thoughts, unedit them, and it's fun to see kind of what's in your head. And then this is a 6-month planner. So we're doing that every 6 months, and there's a lot to be discovered within that process. Just writing things down in those areas and making sure you've got conference on there for April and October. Those are 2 really big rocks that we want to make sure we keep in there. There's stickers for those of you like organizing and having your months, differentiated. I like pretty fonts, but my handwriting is terrible. And so I was like, I don't want to write in that space. I'll mess it up. So then I designed the stickers for those of us that want that. So there's a monthly page. So you can write down your things within your calendar on that monthly page. A lot of times, like appointments are in my phone. I'm not really using the calendar page as much, but people do like calendars. You customize it from the day that you get it, not from the day that it was printed. So it can be start any month that you want to. And then there's some higher thinking pages. This page has changed a little bit. It has more space than the original one that I did. It has more space to write, but really just kind of thinking through the next month and reflecting on the last month. And then your page here with your DMO. So this page on the right is really where the magic happens, but also on the left, the to-do section is really to where you can get organized with making lists. Maybe there's different things within your life, like different sections in life that you're involved with. So you could label it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you wanted to, you could put times down there if you wanted to do time slots or appointment times. Or if you want to use it more like I do, I put Mom's Life. That's a mom's group that I run for mentoring younger moms. And I just write down the things that I need to do about that. Maybe it's just in your house, getting it out of your head and on paper, you make a list. I like adding things to a list that I've already done just so I can cross it off and I'm like, I did that, just anything to see progress. I like that side of it. And again, it's out of my head. So I'm not waking up in the middle of the night and thinking, oh, I forgot, I've got to do this. Or then once I awake, I start thinking about all of those things. And so if I've got it down, I'm going to be a better sleeper. I'm just going to have a more productive day anyway. The second part is events. Events give us a reason to follow up, and events give us a reason to educate the people that we're trying to help, to educate our customers, to build belief in ourselves, and to build belief in our team with us, our partners. And so this section, I write down the title of the event, the date that if it's on Zoom, what's that Zoom ID if it's not mine, and then the people that I invite to it. So I, will spend some time and I just start sending out the messages. You can just copy, paste, or I use Project Broadcast as well. But if somebody doesn't really fit into that Project Broadcast, like they never opted into that, but they are an active person that I'm following up with and inviting to events, I write their name in that. And then as they respond back, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not able to come, I underline their name, because there was an interest, right? They did respond back. If they come to the event, I circle their name. And so that just kind of gives me the next week as I'm looking, or the next couple of days, some direction of who was involved, or the next event that I do, who was interested, who did I underline, and then I'm going to make sure that I definitely invite them to that next one, or give them a next step. I don't want to wait 2 weeks for another event. I can continue on the conversation. I can send them a different video. I can send them recording if the video was recorded, that sort of thing. So events are super important. I encourage you to do 2 events a week. You do one of your own in person. Sometimes that may be one-on-one at a coffee shop. It may be gathering a couple people. It may be a team gathering. It may be a group of people watching a recording that somebody else has done. Wendy Campbell has some great ones that she's doing this week. I'm not sure if you guys are in her downline, but there's a lot of people that have done some really great recorded webinars. Just pick one of those and make that the event that you guys get together and watch one of those off of Healthy Living Revolution. The Power is in the Plant by Debbie Walton, one of my favorites to show. It's such great information. We've got the Tuesday night events that you can tap into now with the affiliate language and the whole food messaging. So one event that you're doing in person, and then one event that you really focus on inviting online. I don't know about you guys, but there's so many events that we get passed along from, people all over the country doing Zoom events. It can get really confusing and overwhelming. And you see all of these and you're like, am I supposed to participate in all of these? Because there's no way I could watch them all. There's no way I could invite to them all. But which one kind of piques your interest? Which one excites you? Which one fits a lot of the people that you're talking to? If you're not talking with young moms, then a back to school event would not be a wise one to spend a lot of time investing in inviting to, right? So think about the people you're talking to, which of these events might be the most important to them. And then that's the one you're going to focus on. So focus on 2, a live event, either, and I would encourage you, one that you're hosting yourself, and one online event. Like, this is to really see traction and build momentum. If you're just wanting to offset your cost, then events are not going to be as important to you. But if you're really looking to build income and stability with this, then events are everything. It's really what gives us so much to have conversations with people about. Okay, so let's go on to the DMO page. I know I'm talking fast. I'm trying to get so much in here with you guys. Are we still okay with time, Denise? I think I've got 3 pages left. Okay, so on the DMO side, you've got personal growth. We need to be investing in ourselves, right? So did you listen to a podcast? Did you read for like a self-help book for 15 minutes? A part of your book study that you guys are doing as a group, that's super important. Just write that in there that you wrote that, or that you read. A devotion in the morning, whatever it is that you feel like you're pouring into yourself and you're encouraging that personal growth, that really is an important aspect. And so write down the names of the people that you talk to as you go. So write them in the back in the contact sheets, and invest 30 minutes on Sunday night. I love that you guys already have this call set up. And then think through, pre-plan your week. Where are you going to be each day? Okay, it's, tomorrow's Monday. Where am I going to be? Who would I be around? Who am I going to be in contact with? Wednesday at church, I remember thinking, oh yeah, I need to give Julie some samples of the Perform that I had talked to her about on Tuesday. So I made sure I had those samples with me when I went to church on Wednesday to give her those samples. Really being intentional on Sunday gives you some direction throughout the rest of the week and gets it out of your head. It's going to save you time, and you're not going to have to dig through that list of people that you're going to follow up with. You kind of pre-plan that. Okay, so it's already pre-planned. On Monday, when you've got time to do your business, you pull out that DMO page. Those names are already listed of who you're going to be around. Who do you need to follow up with? What customers' orders are shipping? Or, if you're on a 1, 2, 3, or 4 connection with them, and you're going to write those down. As you contact them, highlight it. and then move on to the next on the list. And the goal would be by the end of the week that you would have that whole page highlighted. So that's a pre-planning side. Sometimes that goes really well. Sometimes that's what I would like for that week to look like, right? But I don't take the time to pre-plan, but don't worry about that. You're just going to keep moving throughout the week, okay? So as you contact people, as you have a discussion, because there's, especially in that new connections, I wasn't even planning to go to dinner with that lady. We ended up going to an event and the people at the event said, hey, let's all go to dinner. We all went to dinner and I sat next to her. I wasn't planning that. I wouldn't have known to write her name down. But I'm not kidding how many times just looking back through my planner that I realized I didn't follow up with Angel. I sent her the videos, but I didn't follow up with her, So having her name written down, I would also really encourage you, don't just write their first name, write their last name too. I didn't put that on here, but you'll be shocked at how many times you're like, Angel who? I don't, like, what? Who was that? I don't even remember. So then you're like searching through your phone. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot that was her. Or sometimes I'm like, I have no idea who Val was. Like, I have a lot of Valeries in my life. Which one, So writing down last names is important. And then following up, same thing. Who have you given information to? Who do you want to invite to an event? All those things, write their names down as you do them. If that's the way it works for you, that's fine, but it keeps it from being in different notebooks and pieces of paper. Customer care, whose box is shipping, all of those things. Partner connections. If you don't have a lot of partners yet, if you don't have a large team, you can write down people, potential team members, potential affiliates that you're going to invite to be a part of your business, especially this month when we have the incentive where they get to join us for free. And then 3-way connection calls. Joining your people with Denise is a great way to build their confidence and yours. It's a third-party validation. It really moves people forward. And I say the person who does the most 3-way connections is the one that wins. Like, there's just some really powerful things. Denise will ask your people questions that you will be like, oh, you can't ask her that, because in your mind, you've already decided for her. You've already made up her mind. Like, no, we can't go there. But Denise will hear things in that conversation that she'll know, oh yeah, this is perfect. She totally understands. She speaks our language. This would be great for her. And so when I was first starting, I brought a lot of people to the table with Sharon, whether one-on-one or on a call, because I didn't know. I didn't have the confidence to have those conversations, to invite people to be a part of my team, or even to really help move people forward in ordering. I could talk to them about it, but not really answer questions. And I didn't know how to ask them, would you like to get started? And Sharon would ask, like, let's get you started. And I remember thinking, what? You just say that? You just, and they ordered. I was like, oh, okay, I can do that, right? But I needed her to show me. So 3-way connections are a beautiful way to be able to do that. And so you'll notice at the bottom of the page is bonus activity. Every week has 10 different activity suggestions. Actually, it's 12 activity suggestions. And this activity is a lot of marketing activities, such as posting something online, asking a current customer for a referral. It's, if you ever feel stuck and you're just like, I don't know what to do, open your planner for that week and pick one of these and just start activity. Just get into motion, just do something. Activity builds upon itself. And then it's that consistency of that activity week after week after week that really builds that momentum. So as you do it, mark it off, and then the goal would be at the end of the week that you've done all 12 of these. So I do want to encourage you that there is a way that you can build sort of like a team, well, either personally or a team game into it. I don't know if you noticed the 10, the 5, and the 3 in the different sections on the planner. So those are like a point system that you can do by yourself if you want to just track your level of activity, or you can do as a team of 4 or 5 people, and then you guys turn in your points each week. I say it's about 400 to 450 points each week if you really want to see your business growing. If I'm getting less than 250 a week, I'm really not going to see much activity. I'm doing enough activity maybe to maintain, but I don't know if I can even say those words to you guys. Like, either we're progressing or we're regressing. It's hard to just find a level of activity to stay right where you are because customers cancel, right? They do. Like some people just decide they don't want to take it anymore. We can't understand that, but they get to decide that. So if you're never adding new customers, you'll have the natural attrition of customers that any business is going to have. And so it's either you're regressing or you're progressing. So at what pace do you want to do that? And so just to give you an idea, like on the bonus activity, if each one of those boxes is worth 10 points and you just add those bonus activities up, however many you did, and that would give you, okay, I got that many points for that. DMO is 5 times that you contact somebody, not what results you get. Give yourself points for doing the activity. The results will happen. And then events are 3 points per person that you invite, not again, results driven, activity driven. So if they don't come, it's okay. You still get 3 points for texting them or calling them and inviting them to come to that event. So at the end of the week, you add up all of those points, and then you end up with, like this week was 323 points. That's a good number of points. And then I can kind of gauge that week by week. If I'm getting 100 points, 180 points, or if I'm getting 450 points. Like, can you imagine the difference in the momentum of those conversations? At 450 points, then I would be getting at 180 points a week. So like I said, you can do this as a fun game with your team if you want to. It's nice to have some like competition or just like, hey, we're doing this together. Or if you want to just do it for your own record keeping, so you kind of have an idea for yourself and you can see week by week your progression with that. So these are shipped at the DMOplanner.com. that website. We have 2 options now. This is the original DMO planner. And then we have another option that's called the Adventure Planner, which it's just not as girly and it's more sporty and a little bit different colors and that sort of thing. But I hope I've given you guys some information of how you can really implement this into your daily activity. So that daily method of operation, because I want you to get results. Denise wants you to get results, because results means people's lives are being changed. When our paycheck grows, that's a reflection of the number of people that we have helped. And I want to encourage you guys, good people do good things with money. Good people do really good things with money. Money buys you time. It buys you options. It buys me the ability to really serve people around me. I'm so thankful for the income that I have with Juice Plus, the stability that it has brought our family, the options that it has opened up for us. And outside of the DMO planner, like my passion is really mindset around money. Maybe sometime I can come back and do an event with you guys where we talk and explore about that. But I just encourage you, step into activity, get consistent with that. Teach this to your team, and you're really going to see some duplication happening. So Denise, thank you so much for the time today. Again, that you would share your people with me. It's just a huge honor. I've loved learning with you guys today.
Stacey, that was powerful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Besides the visual, I did take a lot of notes, and just, little things that you said, good people do good things with money. Everybody knows that, but sometimes there is a fear about making money, right? So I'm glad you said that. Things that you're talking about, get things out of your head and put them on paper. I know several of us on here is like, man, I got so much up here, but you got to find a place to put it, right? Mm-hmm. So this is awesome. This is awesome. Oh, and we will take you up on the other part, that money mindset. Oh yeah, you tell us when. That'll be awesome.
Does anyone have any questions for me? Did I miss anything?
How long you said you've been doing this?
Almost 20 years. So November, I heard about Juice Plus. So we're getting close on that 20-year mark. So January is when I finally signed up as signed my rep application. But I've been doing it almost 20 years now. It's crazy. Guys, that time goes so fast. Wow. It's so fast. We can either be spending time doing something like this that builds our business and builds people up, or I would be volunteering my life away if it wasn't
Mhm.
just for this. I get to serve other people and create a career and create income. Like, it's just hard to really fathom that until you experience it and to know it. And that's really where the confidence comes in of sharing it with other people. But I mean, what a huge blessing that is. I'm just so
Mhm.
thankful. So
Mhm.
thankful.
Awesome.
Hi,
And
Stacey. Hi, Stacey. This is Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hey, I've been with Juice Plus for about 1.5 years, and Denise has been, and Ramona have been telling me about the DMO, but I just recently purchased one, unfortunately, and
Wow,
and this was very helpful. This was very, very clear and plain to me. I followed you very well. I know what to do with it. Before, when Denise was having calls with the DMO, sometimes I would listen in. I was kind of lost because I didn't have the book.
yeah.
But having the book and being on board, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Oh, you're welcome. Very good. I'm excited for you, Cheryl.
thank you, Cheryl. Narcissus, you have a hand up? You got to unmute.
Yes, Stacey, this was great. Because I kept looking in my book thinking, what in the world do I do with this? So it was very clear, and I do appreciate it. And I have a question.
Okay.
On the bonus activities, you mentioned a system of having numbers where you can add numbers. Now, how do you create those numbers? How do you create that information to be able to calculate the end of the week or the end of the month or whatever?
Yeah, great question. So do you have your planner in front of you?
I do.
Okay, so as you can see, next to the event page, there's a 3 right next to the event.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that 3 means every time you write down somebody's name and you're actually sending them the message to invite them to an event, you get 3 points for each one of those people. Okay.
Person.
So it's not if they come, it's if you invite them. So as you write their name down, if you pre-plan, you write their names down and you highlight it as you do it. And then you would give yourself 3 points for each of those. So then you would just 3, 6, 9, 12, add those up. And then at the end of the week, right next to that 3, write your point system. So let's say it was worth 140 points because you divide that out. That's how many people you invited, or 133. But you would write that number there. Then you go on to the DMO page and there's a 5 up by that, correct?
Yes.
So that's 5 points for each person's name that was contacted that week, or 5 points for personal growth activity. You exercised, that's totally up to you guys what you want to put into that box of personal growth. There's no limit to that. So if it was something that added value to you and you learned something or you did something for yourself, then you would write that in there. And then at the end of the week, you add those up: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So then in that box, I would write a 25 for personal growth. Then I would go down to new connections. How many names do I have in there of people I actually contacted? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I would write a 35 in that little box. So do that for each one of those, then add all of those up that were in the 5-point category and write that number somewhere. That's going to be added to the 133 for the events. Okay. And then on the bonus activity, it's 10 points for each time you do one of those activities. So if you post and it has the suggestion of post a conversation starter online. It doesn't have to be about Juice Plus. The whole point of those is to market yourself. You have to get out there. So you can ask a question about anything. A great one that will get a ton of response. And then that wakes up Facebook algorithms. So more people will see your post. So that's why that's in there. Post and ask people to put a picture of their furry pets. or their furry loves, you'll get like 73 people that will post a picture of their pets. They love showing a picture of their pets. And then again, that wakes up the algorithm with Facebook, now sees you as having relevant conversation with them. And then the next time you post, like within a couple of hours, or even the next day, you post something that's health related and is drawing attention and building curiosity, more of your friends will see it because it was woken up by this post asking a question of pet pictures. Like, it's kind of crazy, but the suggested activity in those bonuses really are partly designed to generate that, conversations and attention and wake up Facebook algorithms. So that might have been too much info on that, but then you just 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80. I did 80 of those, or 8 of them. Write down 8. Now add that number to the DMO number, to the events number. That gets you the total number for the week.
Very good. Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it does. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Corliss, you have a question?
Yeah, in
Okay.
reference to the points, you said that if you're doing a certain number of points a week, this is, the number that you are aspiring to get to in order to move your business. Where is that number? Where do you keep that number?
Like 400, 450, somewhere around there. I mean, that's a lot of activity, but it's really seriously inviting to events and being really effective with follow-up. And that DMO activity, that bonus activity, that can give you quite a few points on that. 120 if you do all of them one time. If you do them more than once, you can count it more than one time. But it just is a measure that it's a good enough number of points. Like, it's going to take two, guys. I want to give you just some encouragement. 400 to 450 points per week. It's going to take about 3 weeks for you really to start to see the payoff of that stronger, heavier activity, if you will. So be patient with that process, because it takes time for conversations to develop, right?
Mhm.
And not everyone answers at our pace that we would like for them to answer. And so you have to just be patient with other people's busy, noisy schedules. But if you're talking to enough people to generate 400 to 450 points, I guarantee you, if you do that for 4 weeks, you're going to see customers. You're going to get that 5-1 at least, each month. If you don't, I will personally pay you back the $25 that you invested in it. Show me a picture of all of that activity. And if 4 weeks later, either I'll give you the money back, or I will do a personal call with you to figure out maybe some verbiage that needs to be tweaked. But that number of points generating that activity, you're going to see results. I've just seen it so many times now for myself and for my team as well.
Okay.
Denise, I did want to just invite all of you on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. Central. Denise will pass along. I'll make sure I give it to you tonight so you have it. Pass along a call that I do. It's a Zoom. It's 30 minutes, and we cover some aspect of the DMO planner. It's not a training like tonight where I walk you through how to do it, but like tomorrow, we're going to be discussing follow-up, and I'm going to give we're going to talk for 5 minutes. We're going to work for about 15, and then we're going to come back on and discuss the results. Sometimes we do it that way. Sometimes it's more topical, where I do sort of a training, and then we have a big discussion about that, and then kind of marching orders to go from there. But if you like practical information and advice, if what I shared to do with you tonight made sense, if you connect with my brain on coaching and the way that goes, it's just a way for me to pour back into you guys. I don't want you to invest in something and never use it, right? Like, that's pointless. I want you guys to get the most out of this planner, because I want to see your businesses grow too. I love to get those messages back. So it's Monday mornings on Zoom at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we also have a Voxer chat. You can get a text reminder if you want a reminder from me about those calls on Monday mornings, and I will send that information to Denise as well. And if you want to be on the Voxer chat, there's some chatter in there lately because we've been talking about boards and some pages that you can build. And it's just a good community of people from like a ton of different teams all across the company, and we learn from each other. So I love it. I love being on there. I love having you guys on there too.
Stacey, thank you so much. There is one more question in the chat. And Heather, are you still on? Do you want to ask it personally? Because I'm not quite sure what you're asking here. You can unmute if you like, Heather. Well, I'll read it and let's see if you. Oh, there you are. Go ahead, Heather.
So, when I first got it, I said, well, I'm going to use it just for the business. But then going back and forth from my personal one for my employment situation, and this was cumbersome. So I was saying, I really should have one management system. And so I was just wondering if you had particular suggestions on using it for both my employment job and my business.
Can I ask what your employment job is? Like, what do you do?
I'm a teacher. I'm using.
Okay. So would you be writing things down in there, such as like meetings, maybe on the calendar page?
Yeah, major things. I mean, not so many things, but I was feeling like that could get messy. And so I was starting off separate, doing it separately. But I said, I want to just refer to one book.
Yeah, I think you would just have to try it out. On one side, having your business all in one place, it's great for even things like if you ever get audited, you're like, look, I did this activity, I was at this place on this day, like I really did go to lunch with this person, or, something like that. You sort of have like a written record of your daily life with your business. If you felt like that there were more things that needed to be in your calendar by like event time, you can write that on there. I think you just have to play around with it, Heather, and see, does it fit your needs? Do you feel like things are, being, dropped through the cracks? But I don't know that there's anything wrong of having one for both, because those are very different. Being a teacher, that's a full-time job. Like there's a lot of information that goes with teaching. And I think I could, I use one because I'm doing like volunteer and mom's life and, that sort of thing that doesn't take as much structure written down as maybe a teacher does. But you could maybe, just try it and see how it works for a month.
Okay. Thank you. It's just so pretty. I didn't want to clog it up.
Yeah, you have to write on it for it to work.
There you go. There you go. Just don't keep it on the desk, right? Open it up. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, Stacey, how long do you suspect? I'm sorry, Denise. How long
go ahead, Cheryl.
How long does one planner last you?
6 months.
Okay. All right.
It's designed as 6 months. I will say, like, the end of my son got married in September 3rd, and I went out of town twice, and it was just like I went and did some events for my team. It was just like a month or two, really a very disrupted, like I was doing business, but it was more, I just kind of got behind on the end, and I was close to the end of my planner of the 6 months. And so it was stressing me out that there were empty pages in the month that I hadn't used. So I just ripped out the monthly page and just forgot about that side of it. And now, so I didn't want to waste any of those weeks. And so now I have it to where it's just week of DMO, and there's no monthly page in between. That's the thing, girls. Make this yours. It's your planner. What worked for me in my mind may not work for you. This is customizable enough that you can make it work for you. And that's the key.
Thank you, Stacey.
Sure.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, Stacey. We've got a lot out of this. I appreciate it. May God bless you back for all the giving that you're doing outside of Juice Plus too. I really appreciate you. And let us know if there's anything we can do to assist you. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Everybody unmute. Say thank you.
Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Thank
Stacy.
you.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Thank you.